And good evening, everybody, and welcome here to the return of the Winston Cup Series debut season as we're getting set for race number 15 on our fun season. After tonight, we'll have 11 more races left to go until we crown our chase for the championship regular season, and it's going to be really fun to see how that will go here tonight. A Crenshaw's on the pole position for tonight's race. Crenshaw comes into tonight's race in the top 10 of the points, seventh to be exact, alongside is Riley Anderson, who fell two spots down to 15th in the points. Josephine Bouvier lost the points lead to J TwoTwo last time out at Charlotte. She is second in points. And speaking of J TwoTwo, he is alongside of her in that regard. Timmy Turner rounds out the top five. There's the rest of the lineup. Ponzo Albanese was given a penalty of the start at the rear of the field for his actions following the race weekend at Charlotte 3 weeks ago. So let's see if these cars will get off the line a lot cleaner. And hold on a second. As now the cars are rolling off behind the pace car. Let's talk about the points coming into tonight's race. While we're at it, Jacob TwoTwo took the points lead, like I said, from Bouvier. It's now 19 between the two drivers. Ben Tennyson, 38 points back, third in the standings. Cody Smart, 41 points back in fourth. Betty Johnson, 45 back in fifth. Ashley Horton is 48 back in sixth. Seventh is A Crenshaw, 50 points back. 64 back is Luke Knight in eighth. Samantha Grainger, ninth. And Senor Sean, who joined me for the Truck Series race 2 nights ago, complete your top 10. As we're checking the rest of the field, there's Ponzo Albanese starting at the rear of the field for his little consequence from 3 weeks ago. Betty Barrett debuting the BAM Racing Dodge colors on her machine. Melissa Cooper running the Pop Secret colors on her Dodge. We'll see how that will play out during tonight's race, as I got a fly in here that came out of nowhere. Here we go. Going to take the green flag for the Quaker State 400 presented by Advanced Auto Parts. We are green from Kentucky. Josephine Bouvier, who has yet to find victory lane for the first time this season, looking to take the points lead. We had 2 cautions in our Truck Series race, but last night in the Busch race, we only had 1. So could this race be caution free? And of course, we're running 27 laps. Speaking of Sean, I see him on that inside line, that Sirius Satellite Radio Dodge. Sean is having a great season, running inside the top 10 in points. His sister went to victory lane a couple of weeks ago at Memphis. We'll see if Sean Ard can get his first win on the season. I wonder what kind of notes he took after watching Jesse Art race here 2 nights ago in the Truck Series race. Josephine Bouvier running in second. That's Michael Anderson right there. There's Senor Sean and Jacob TwoTwo. Not surprising to see him back in fifth. Of course, he's back to the black and silver machine. Of course, he ran the red and silver car at Coke 600 3 weeks ago, and Timmy Turner leading. And we might have a little Monster Energy Series rivalry coming back again. Remember the Timmy Turner Jacob TwoTwo saga from 2011? Well, guess what? They're 1-2. That's kind of funny. Ponzo Albanese is going to need to be having himself a good run because he dropped to 24th in the points. And he is a total of, doing the math between himself and 30th in the standings, he's now 27 points ahead of 30th in the standings. So if Albanese has another bad result, he could fall outside the top 30 in points. Marty Stevens is 13 points ahead of 30th in the standings, so he needs a good run today. And of course, Zachary Taylor and A. Thomas are outside the top 30 in points, meaning their wins would not count for a spot into the playoffs. And A. Thomas is a total of, let's see, it would have been 30 if it was 258 for Brooklyn Carter. But she has a total of 29 points back of 30th in the standings. It's 19 points between Zachary Taylor and 30th in the standings, ironically being his driver, Brooklyn Carter, Zachary Taylor's driver, Brooklyn Carter, I should say. And those are our only two drivers who are outside the top 30 in the points table that have a victory. Everybody else, 11 of the 13 winners we've had this season are all inside, 11 winners we have inside the top 30 in points out of the 13 winners we've had this season. Bouvier is 67 points above the cut line. Betty Johnson, 41. Annie Crenshaw or pole sitter, 36. Luke Knight, 22. And Senor Sean is 3 points above the cut line, with Tatum Wright, Melissa Cooper, 3 below. Margaret Jacobs, 6 below. And Riley Anderson, 7 below. And here comes Hannah Smith in the 48. Where in the world did the Lowe's Chevrolet come from? Hannah Smith dropped 2 spots down to 27th in the points table. She is inside the top 30 in the points table to have her win count for a spot into the playoffs. 35 points above the cut line is Ashley Reynolds. 36 above is Todd Montgomery. And Courtney Lynn is a total of 37. And that's, by the way, ahead of 30th in the standings. As I hit the wrong camera angle, let's check back here. Riley Anderson's dropped back here. There's Courtney Lynn. I was just talking about her, who was 37 ahead of 30th in the standings, so she did not need a poor finish tonight. Luigi Cadet's having a struggling night. Annie Thomas is trying to work her way to the front. So is Marty Stevens. They're 4 wide. Contact between Cooper and Watts. That was close. There's our pole sitter, Annie Crenshaw, Samantha Grainger in the Kraft American Online colors on her Chevrolet. Betty Barrett's moving up. There's Annie Winters. Sean Arch starting to drop back a bit. Ashley Reynolds having a good run. Zachary Taylor's another driver who's having a good run tonight in the Kodak machine. I talked about Zachary Taylor, who came in this race only 19 points behind 30th in the standings. And he's running in the 13th position. So we'll have to see where this is going to situate him heading into next week's race at the Rock, as Hannah Smith currently the race leader. Hendrick Motorsports has only been to victory lane once this season, which is a surprise. Margaret Jacobs got pushed up the racetrack just a little bit. Saw that, and it costed Noah Parker a win in last night's Busch Series race, which allowed Jay Green to go to victory lane last night. A lot of drivers inside the top 30 in points who have not been to victory lane this season that would like to get a win. Ashley Reynolds, by the way, won the Coke 600 last time out. Remember, Jacob TwoTwo has 1 win. Cody Smart has 2 wins. But the key factor is Jacob TwoTwo is ahead of Cody in the points. As Brad Lewis going to take the race lead in the 17. Brad Lewis 32nd in points, as he did get a lap lead. Brad Lewis has only led 10 laps this season, make that 11 circuits. Brad Lewis lost the lead to Hannah Smith. Hannah Smith, who's been having a not so good season, been a struggling season for this 48 team. So the good thing is, if she does win, she is inside the top 30 in the points. So she would be in the playoffs, providing she stays in the top 30 in the points table. As here comes the 15 of Vanko Seaman. Seaman comes into this race 38th in the points. Been a tough season for that driver. Love to turn his season around. Monica Towns having a quiet run tonight, running in the 18th position in the points. Jacob TwoTwo currently in the 5th position. Jacob looks like he's going to keep the points lead heading into next week's race, because the gal that was trying to run him down for the points lead is running in 13th. Bouvier, who came in this race second in points, and Zachary Taylor's inside the top 15, and he was 19 points ahead of behind 30th in the standings. If he has a good run, I have a feeling Zachary Taylor might have gotten himself back in the top 30 in the points. The question is going to be, is he going to stay there come race number 26? That's where the big test is going to be. So we're going to come down to 4 laps of racing to go. Looking forward to next week's race at the Rock. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Rockingham, North Carolina. We'll have the Sam's the Good Sam's 200 and the Subway 400 for the Winston Cuppers. Rockingham is going to be a fun race with tires going away a lot faster with Choose Up tires. Going to be a fun race. 12:30 Eastern Standard Time next week. Should be a lot of fun. Hope you'll join us next week as we go slipping and sliding. Down to 2 laps to go in this race. Annie Thomas running in the 29th position. I don't think that's going to be enough for her. Zachary Taylor running in 13th. We'll have to see where this is going to situate him after tonight. He is ahead of the driver, ironically his teammate, which is Brooklyn Carter, running in the 28th position. And remember, Taylor was only 19 points back of 30th in the standings as the white flag is out for the Lowe's Chevrolet. One more lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Courtney Lynn's going to have a poor finish. That's going to hurt her, but she had a big enough cushion, so I think she'll still be in the top 30 in points. The question is she going to keep an eligibility after next week's race? We'll have to find out later. But here comes Hannah Smith off of turn 4. She's going to win the Quaker State 400 presented by Advance Auto Parts. And now the big question is, and it's still early to tell, has Hannah Smith locked herself a spot into this season's chase for the championship? And we went caution-free, believe it or not. So, great way for the Winston Cuppers coming back from their 2 weeks off. And Hannah Smith comes back with a vengeance and takes home the win. Vanko Seaman will get second. Still a wonderful result for a driver who has really been struggling in the points, 38th to be exact. Monica Towns got third, Brad Lewis in fourth. Brad Lewis 32nd in points. Good run for him. Needed a good run. J TwoTwo will keep the points lead in fifth. Good run for him. Timmy Turner came home in sixth. Good run for the Timster. 25th in the points. He'll be inside the top 20 leaving tonight. Margaret Jacobs will get 7th. Cody Smart 8th. Luke Knight 9th. And Elena Aurora had a quiet run in 10th. And the honorable mention of Betty Barrett at 11th. Ponzo Albanese, much better result. Of course, he was placed on probation for 6 weeks after his punishment from last week after hitting Ben Erickson on the back straight and causing a yellow, which didn't sit well with team owner Luke Knight. So he had a much better day. And, of course, he was trying to stay above 30th in the points. That's going to do him a lot of good. Brenda Eveling, well-needed run from her. Todd Montgomery, Zachary Taylor. Where is a 15th place finish going to put him after tonight? We're going to have to wait and find out. Let's see here. Ashley Reynolds, 22nd. I think she'll still be in the top 30, but that gap's going to get smaller and smaller between herself and 30th in the standings as you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results. Marty Stevens, 29th. I have a bad feeling he's going to fall outside the top 30 in points, and Annie Thomas never made up any ground, 38th. That's not going to get her back in the top 30 in the points. And Courtney Lynn, who was 37 points ahead of 30th in the standings, 39th. Where is this going to situate her after tonight's race? We'll have to wait and see. But all 40 drivers did finish the race and on the lead lap. Luigi Cadet, really a rough night for him as he finished in the 40th position. But everybody finished, so that's the good news there. But a couple of drivers who came in running well in points going to really take some hits. Bouvier finished 23rd. That was second in points, so boy, points are going to get shaken up, and we'll see if Zachary Taylor is back in the top 30 in points or not. But thank you all for joining me for tonight's race here at Kentucky. If you did enjoy this race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We share your full finish results. Your point standings are down in the description heading into next week at Rockingham, North Carolina. It's only Busch and Winston Cup coming from the Rock. Then the following week, we are heading to Dover for Busch and Winston Cup. Hope you'll join us for that. Until then, I've been D. DeVille signing up. Goodbye and good night from Kentucky as you've been watching yet another broadcast of PCSRA TV, where champions are made since 2010 and 15 years as the best in racing around the world since 2017. See you next week from Rockingham.